is why compLexity is taking so much time with this final ban.
And it's going to be the LeBlanc also removed, so 3 mid lane bans, 1 top, 1 jungle, 1 AD. Keeps SoloMid now to consider what they're going to go for. I think he's covered Yi many times, but Kassadin has been left available. Probably did not work very well with that champion against LMQ. So now it's TSM's turn to say, here's how it's played.
Bjergsen getting to play his new assassin buddy. Now, we haven't gotten to talk too much about the new Kassadin because he has been banned so much.
Yeah.
I would actually say, so if we compare him to the Kassadin that was banned all throughout the spring split before the rework, I'd say the early game now is stronger.
Yeah.
And the late game, the hyper late game, is also stronger. But there's a big dip in the entire middle of the game. You don't see those Catalyst, Tear of the Goddess Kassadins running around and killing people.
True.
He's actually very weak in the mid game, where many of these games currently are decided. So that's actually a very risky pick to me.
It is. We'll see if he gets held down. I mean, he can last it under a turret, but how well can you make the plays in the mid game? One thing I've really noticed about the Kassadin as well is the difference in power between level 15 and 16 is massive. Your ulti goes from a 5 to a 3-second cooldown, and it just makes a very big difference. Again, just back up your point about his late game being so good. compLexity, though, you're going to get Jax and Lee Sin, so Broken Shard, his second Lee Sin game with a split, and hey, you've got a Jax in there for Westrice.
Makes some good sense. Westrice should hopefully be able to get going. It's going to be hard, though. Dyrus is very good at keeping down enemy top laners from carrying the game too hard. Picking a Jax for Westrice, he hasn't been very successful, even in the promotion tournament, individually. So Jax is something that he needs to do very well individually on to be successful. The Lee Sin, though, for Broken Shard, he's had a lot of success on.
All right, so compLexity do manage to corner some pretty top-tier picks and half their lineup, but TSM get their bottom lane in as well. And with almost every champion from that role being available, they got pretty much the cream of the crop for this one. TSM's lineup also does look very strong.
They could even go with an Elise jungle as well. I mean, I actually don't feel like there's a support jungler combo stronger in the game right now than the Morgana plus Elise. Only because of the 3-second Dark Binding and the 2-second stun from Elise is just too much lockdown for people to deal with. I almost never see that combo lose.
Yeah, even like Elise Thresh, like as good as that is, you're right, it's a 1.5-second hook instead of a 3-second binding.
Yeah.
We did get to see that last game, but now we're going to see what happens with this one. compLexity now 12 seconds to go for their next 2 picks for this one. Most lanes are available. Roboticsly definitely big on Corki. Zyra once again, Bubba playing a lot of this champion, and it's a gigantic AoE magic damage grouping.
Yeah, I mean, we have to consider as well, Twitch and Lucian off the board. Roboticsly gets to pick from the rest of the AD carries. What does he think is the third best? Against Lucian, he wants to match him with Dash, good AoE damage, a lot of magic damage as well. They go with a fairly physical heavy lineup so far. Yeah. And there's also picking Zyra, which Glebe ended up picking in the previous game.
Yep. It's just a whole bunch of damage, so if TSM does go in, that can be pretty threatening. One thing to keep in mind is Kassadin's shield is magic damage only, so pretty much no matter who he fights against, he's going to block some of that damage.
There's a chance. I mean, it depends on Prawley's champion pool here, because he's a Ziggs player by trade, but a Ziggs against a Kassadin isn't a fantastic matchup. You would almost want to pick physical damage against Kassadin, but then there's the question of, do they have too much alpha damage on their team? You know, with the Corki and the Zyra, they probably have enough magic damage to work in, but a Yasuo could work very nice here, but he's a Ziggs by trade.
Yeah, he's a Ziggs by trade, types in GG, tells his teammate to do that, clicks the only champion available, and there we go. So how well can Bjergsen hold onto his lane? I mean, Ziggs' pushing is incredibly strong.
Yeah.
Kassadin's follow-up to an Elise Sync isn't amazing, so maybe that, you know, probably gets to push and doesn't get punished for it.
Exactly. We look at these team compositions as well. compLexity has a lot of pushing, especially in the middle and the bot lane, and a whole bunch of damage team-wide. But then I'd say if I look at TSM's lineup, they have much more control.
Yeah.
The Elise and Morgana combos, but then you just add into the fact Kassadin's a slow bot. Renekton also has a very long stun if he wants to get it right. It's not a high-damage team, but it's a high-control team. And TSM wants to control compLexity, who always tries to make big plays.
Sure.
So they should be able to shut him down that way.
We'll see if they can make it happen, if they can get the early game pressure and snowball up from there. Does a champion slide onto the Rift? Let's see who you guys voted to win. Well, 91% vote for TSM to win over compLexity. Another pretty commanding vote for these guys.
Over 90. They had a lot of those last split. We'll see how many more of them they can get here. But you can also send your picks during the game by tweeting at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag TSMWin or COLWin. We'll be checking in on the vote periodically to see which way the winds are blowing. With no Yasuo in the game, it's hard to say.
Yeah, well, there's no wall in the way. I mean, no Riven either. There's so many... No Janna.
There's a lot of wind in League of Legends.
There is, actually.
But I guess with 119 champions, there's a whole bunch of everything.
Yes, there is. Like, they needed physical damage mid lane. It's like,
Yeah.
there's like 17 options.
Yeah.
And no, not going to be the case for this
Yasuo.
one. Yep. Lee Sin, Jarvan, if you're frogging.
Yep, back in the day.
Yeah.
Shinzao.
Yeah, if you're Cardsman Bob or someone else. Those are fun. I like mid Sin Jows. They're
Nocturne
cool.
mid.
Pantheon. I fought a Nocturne mid. I lost to it.
All right, we've proven our point.
Yeah, so we're
we have a game about that.
We've kind of only hit to like
Yeah.
11, but you know the rest of them are out there. Don't
Yeah, so
worry.
TSM would definitely need this win. They want to go 2-1.
Yeah.
complexity would like to avoid going 0-3. This is an incredibly tough week they've been having as well.
Oh,
And
sure.
it's not getting any easier playing against Team SoloMid.
Team SoloMid, the top 2 team from the last split. Plenty of fans in attendance. I like how anytime we mention a TSM member in the pregame, we're like, players to watch, and like he's on TSM chance to start. Like, I love the crowd for shouting out, like
Loyal
shouting out for their
fan
favorite players. It's a whole bunch of fun. It makes it great to cast here in live audiences. One of the big improvements over Season 3.
Absolutely. Go Glebe.
Welcome
Yeah.
to Summoner's
Says the
Rift.
crowd. Glebe had a difficult time trying to protect Wild Turtle in that last one.
Well,
That's Wild Turtle's fault.
that was, yeah.
As I think we can all agree. He's got to play safer in this one on Lucian, but the team with a bunch of control will actually set up Wild Turtle for a very big game. He should have the finishing damage if they start getting this game rolling.
Well, Watoto right now, not learning his lesson. He's alone in the mid lane, in range of Prolly. He gets hit by the Q, by the way. The health bar has gotten chunked out, so 0 for 1 dodging skill shots, Wild Turtle.
It's a bad ratio
Yeah.
as of now. Wonder if we're going to see these delayed level 1s, if we're going to see the lane swaps. It's interesting because
Ooh. Prolly's 2 for 2.
so
They're
there,
gonna scout.
potential this is just for warding. And we've been seeing a lot more lane swaps, Freak. You and me were trying to have a very lengthy discussion about this. But there is some delayed evades.
Oh.
Amazing is late getting out.
Wild Turtle gets
So is
spotted.
Turtle.
Q hits a Spiderling. Wild Turtle gets over the wall, gets rooted up. Dyer's gonna defend him. So aside from winning the wrong skill at level 1, nothing lost for TSM.
Yikes. That was real scary. Nothing lost yet. Because at least
Yeah.
they've already lost Morgana and complexity is invading 5 strong. This could very well be a slightly late jungling start for Amazing because they have to abandon this blue buff. And it also dictates the formation of the lane. It looks like complexity is going to have to stay up here if they want to keep experience, which means we get standard lanes.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It's upside down. We have Australian standard lanes. Complexity gonna go ahead and try to get their 2-buff start. Lee Sin gonna make his way to his own red buff, and Amazing and Dyrus gonna start out down here, but realize that because the quote-unquote top lane is gonna be forced to 1v1 lane, you don't get to double jungle for very long. Amazing grabs his red buff, the recall in from Westrice. He'll TP back into lane with a ward and some potions.
And this kind of de-emphasizes slightly the 80 carry and the mid lane's impact because when we're having the double junglers happening, proportionally farm-wise, the mid laner and the 80 carry are having a bit more strength, kind of like back in the old days of the 80 carries really carrying games.
Yeah.
But now we're back to the standard lane. Everyone is a little bit stronger as long as it stays this way, which it looks like it will. Standard lanes, Renekton bottom, going to have a really good game against Westrice.
You know what's gonna be weird about this, though, is Westrice got the blue buff. When they invaded, Broken Shard, I believe he smited for it, but the blue buff actually went onto Westrice. So he's got a bit of an extra bonus XP. So even though Renekton Jax is not a good matchup for Jax, maybe having a bunch of free mana will help him out.
Yeah, it'll at least allow him to hopefully spam a few more last hits. The problem is he got to lane a little bit later than Dyrus. So despite the blue buff experience, he's still not going to have that big of an advantage. And if Dyrus keeps the lane shoved like this, there's no way Westrice will be able to engage. So it's kind of just to survive the early laning phase, if anything.
It's Jax's MO in the first place, so I guess he can't be too sad about it. Goes for the sun, gets some damage down, but he's going to miss the rest of the CS for that, and gets out-traded as well. So 8 to 17 in minions, not the best start for him.
Yeah, Renekton beats Jax for a reason. Renekton's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, honestly, recently. Lane dominance isn't a thing he can often do to people with all of the strategic lane swapping we have been seeing, especially on this 4.7 patch, where it seems almost even more prevalent. But Westrice just missing the stun. Amazing.
Just
Also
missed the
missing
stun.
the stun.
Oh, nice attempt.
Great
there.
juking by these guys.
Yeah, they're getting away from it just barely. The dash at the right second. Westrice tries to pull the gank in, and the thing is, that was a lane that wasn't warded for Dyrus. If there was no counter gank, if he didn't dodge any of that, he didn't see it coming, and gets away by thankfully dashing out.
Yeah. also Prawley versus Bjergsen. If Prawley doesn't pull a lead on Bjergsen, it's indicative that Bjergsen is winning, but it's not a disaster. Another stun, this time it lands, and the Q.
The Q as well. There's the flash away from Dyrus. The stun lands from Amazing to pull them off that one, but that is his Summoner Spell burn. Trinket Ward is now in that brush, so Broken Shard will get continually spotted as he tries to make this attempt.
Yeah, Dyrus still has his teleport as well. He's going to try and stack advantages in that lane. He's coming back immediately to make sure Westerice is denied on experience. He never wants to give Westerice an upper hand because generally, if a Jax does get an upper hand in the game, he's never putting the hand any lower than that.
Generally speaking, no.
The
yeah, the hand will always be up there. Westerice taking a stun, losing some more health. Dyrus went back to lane with double Doran's a longsword and no potions. He's relying on his innate sustain plus the double Doran's to keep his health bar up. If he does take a bad trade, he's got to walk back to lane with a 3-minute cooldown left on his teleport. But so far, Dyrus is being dominant, both soon to hit level 5. And looks like it's Jax being zoned away.
Yeah, I think he's got domination in the lane. Broken Shard's going to have to go down to help Westerice a lot. compLexity putting almost all of their resources into trying to get Westerice going.
Oh, the Trinket Ward times out. Dyrus does not have flash. The stun's going to land. Do they have the rest of the damage? Dash number 1, dash number 2 inside the minion line. The flash E for Broken Shard. AZ going too much. He's going to take one more turret shot and live, but that was greedy.
It's exactly greedy, and it's kind of been what's losing compLexity a lot of these games, is just going too far for plays that aren't necessarily there. He got the slice and dice on Westerice, which means he closed enough distance to get near his turret, and you can't dive a rageful Renekton and expect to get away with it. He lost all of his health and burned his flash while the minion wave was pushing, so Renekton doesn't even really have to go back. Huge advantage for TSM there.
Yeah, but it's going to be the TP for Bjergsen to go back to the mid lane as well, so more things going nice for these guys. Catalyst, they're amazing behind Bubba Dub, going to land a bit of damage. The slow plan actually dealing some damage as well, but Glebe still pushing in. Bubba Dub gets rooted up. He goes down. The flash is late. Westerice TP's in, but Amazing gets out.
And unfortunately, another missed opportunity for compLexity there. The teleport, at the very best, it saves Bubba Dub's life and puts Westerice in a lane he might not want to be in. But I guess they're doing a lane swap anywhere. Corki's going down the bottom lane. They didn't like the Renekton 1v1 matchup, and they're trying to force elsewhere. Maybe this will pan out better for compLexity, but so far, all TSM.
All TSM indeed. 600 gold lead for these guys thanks to that first blood. And you know that mid lane, by the way, not even going poorly. 49 to 47 in minions. So kind of everywhere down the line. Dyrus even ignoring Robert just to kill minions off quicker before he gets away from this one. Really not a hardship for TSM.
Yeah, Dyrus needed to get all the minions down he could before he's going to be trapped in a 2v2 lane. Or 2v1 lane, rather.
Yeah. Dyrus hit W a touch too early there and broke his first auto attack. Wild Turtle going to get his way down across map as well. Looks like this is a match that TSM wants to keep finding the 2-on-2 lanes, the 1-on-1 lanes. Amazing. Only level 4 here. He spent so much time helping out Dyrus. He's got almost no XP. Bjergsen will get this blue buff there. Amazing gets level 5 off of it. He's got some room to go. Bubba Dub gets a little bit of money for himself, but
yeah, it appears like Amazing will be all right, despite that weakish level 4 look. He got the level 5 off the blue, and it's really the rest of his team that he's allowed to survive. Surprisingly, though, Wild Turtle is actually, we weren't paying much attention in the lane because there was so much action bottom. Wild Turtle's fairly far behind Robert and Bubba Dub, so we heard them in that pregame saying if there's a weakness of the TSM team, it's the bottom lane which they can take advantage of. And they took a small advantage of them. It's just a matter of if the rest of the team can capitalize.
And what they're talking about with sort of capitalizing actually, the fact that, hold on, Prawley taking some damage. Bjergsen shields it, doesn't care. The difference in item builds on supports as well. Because Glebe went tier 1 into an early Sightstone for really good ward control. Bubba went Frostbang for more gold generation, but he's relying on wards he's bought. Now, compLexity has just enough wards. Wait, the ward on Dragon just timed out. There's a chance Amazing gets in undetected.
And there's a chance that Frostfang comes back to be too early of an upgrade. Zyra does that almost all the time in her build path because she does need a little bit more ability power to become effective as a mage there. But they have a real risk of getting lost objectives here. The jungle invade is unseen, and they have no eyes on Elise. No dive coming, though, if Elise is just going for Dragon. Might cost him the Dragon, though.
They ping the Tri-Brush ward so that Amazing knows about that one, but otherwise, you're right. He's going to play it much more safely. Broken Shard, though, on top of the ward, is going to start blue buff out. Amazing waiting in the wings. Early smite by Broken Shard. If he shows up, he can steal.
Yep.
There it is. Nicely done by Amazing.
One of those things, you're so secure in your own jungle. I've had it happen. If your buff doesn't get stolen 20 times in a row, you just smite early because you want the cooldown faster and because he's going to be handing off the buff anyway. but he should have saved it that time, especially because they had no vision control going into their jungle. They had to assume the worst, and they didn't.
Yeah, not even a single sweeper on the complexity lineup right now. No one was able to get rid of wards. They had no way of knowing that was trinketed, and it was, and that was a really, really good steal. So, going to be a mid lane lead for Bjergsen, 76 and 72 in minions. You can see him now bullying out.
Yeah,
and every time he trades,
advantage as well.
The shield makes him really not killable. So Westrice now, again, under his turret. Amazing's on the other side of the map, but Dyrus goes in for the fight, pops shield. Does he have the damage he needs? Westrice just forced to now be low on health under the turret. Dyrus dives again.
Low. He's waiting for his spell cooldown to come back up. He could kill him with the spell. Oh, no!
Oh, the outplay, is it real? Westrice almost gets it, and Dyrus barely squeaks away.
Wow. Big move there by Dyrus. He was very nearly giving that lane back. That's one of those very risky plays that if he loses would be a bit disastrous, but he pulled it off, and I don't know if Westrice can recover now.
And it's going to be a 30 minion difference plus actually equal levels right now, 8 to 8. But yeah, I mean, it's going to get worse more before it gets better. The makings of a TM now coming in for Dyrus against Double Doran's Boots 1. Not the best start for the man, so it's going to keep getting scary and scary with this Renekton. And here comes the TP, the Plague looking for the bottom lane. Glebe gonna land the stun onto Bubba Dub. Nowhere for this guy to go. Broken Shard shows up, kicks Glebe into the turret and gets out using his body. Good 1-for-1 for that one.
Nice play there by Broken Shard coming in for the save. He's missed a lot of those plays so far in the LCS, but he definitely makes that one work. He gets a kill back for his AD carry. Kill for Bjergsen, however. Tough trade. We got to take another look at this one as they lock down with Glebe. See the teleport coming. It's a safeguard to a flash to a different person. That was sneaky. Still, I have to watch that a little bit in slower motion.
It's great. He flash kick support, then Qs to get away. Who needs safeguard when you've got resonating strike to get out of your fights? Pretty sweet play. Okay, 1-for-1 overall plus a 5-minute teleport down on Bjergsen. What I kind of like about the TP mid lane is even though you have less kill pressure, hold on, Westrice. Okay, some damage. Even though you have less kill pressure with Ignite, the fact that you can stay in your lane and farm the entire time, then only TP when you need to, you never miss CS on your roams. Or you miss very little, or less than you would normally.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a little bit less kill pressure. And honestly, this game is only 1,000 in gold, which I still don't feel like it's close. I feel like TSM's team composition will have so much control. They brought double teleport in their solo lanes. I feel like they're just going to be taking over probably by the 20-minute mark.
Well, for what it's worth, about 100 gold difference among the GP10, so that's 1/10 of the extra gold deficit. As Babadub's been out farming Glebe from the support role. Sightstone is done. Bjergsen's going to roam up. I don't know if that trinket actually saw him. Broken Shard and Westrice both going to recall back.
They think that it was trinketed.
They're playing towards the back. They're at least playing safely enough, but Dyrus...
Yeah, he was just seen.
Yeah, okay.
compLexity now knows, so they're going to stay safe.
Probably also trying to shove down the lanes to make Bjergsen pay for that roam. He's going to miss maybe a few minions here, but not a ton. Broken Shard's still around to go up to defend Westrice. Is 2-on-2 just to get Jax some farm. That baits him Coon out. Nice play. Tricky move.
He baited out the free spell.
Look at awesome. Mana.
All right, you're right.
It's a human form spell.
It just doesn't do damage.
He's got like 90% mana still, but hey, it's a cooldown burn.
It was very flashy. I like the play. Still, 1,300 gold. Bjergsen farming very well. In the mid game right now, where Cassian isn't nearly as strong as he would have been in the past, but with the way he's farming and the way TSM is equipped to set up kills with all the crowd control they have on everyone, I think they're in a very good position to win this game. Look for maybe some dragon fighting, especially when Dyrus hits level 11.
That'll be a big spike for the guys when his teammate comes in. Probably has it by the time he recalls, but just hasn't gone back for it just yet. 40 minions now the difference among these top laners. Between them specifically. Chain Vest also for the guy. A bit more tankiness. Glebe's going to sweep away a pink ward. TSM, you know when their support goes for the dragon area. That's when they're going to start it, is just get the ward control, let's get this all set up.
Yeah, they're getting actually red buff vision control right now, which isn't required. It would actually mean they're not respecting compLexity's dragon control whatsoever.
Yeah, they're playing around the fact their top lane's already winning. They say if we make plays up here, it's guaranteed to work. Westrice is going to find a bit of damage, but gets stunned away out of range. Amazing gets out, heals up on the golem, kills one, and Dyrus is completely zoning his opponent away from golden experience in that lane.
Yeah, this would be the time where compLexity would say, hey, everyone, go to dragon, but they're kind of respecting Darius' teleport and strength a little bit too much right here. They get the stun of Westrice, and
Last
everyone
stun.
goes for it.
Bjergsen's there as well. Westrice has the stun available, but he's taking way too much damage. Good kill picked up by Darius.
The turret ends up falling as well, but this is a dragon they've given up to compLexity. Not even the most beneficial trade, aside from the fact that it guarantees control over Westrice for Darius, which they're going to translate into more plays later in the game.
Yeah, there's a bit of an invisible advantage to the fact that like 3 minion waves got denied that whole time top lane. Westrice has been pushed away. That entire time, the turret did go down amongst all of that. Here's getting a last hit here. Still holding equal in minions the mid lane, but as Kassadin, that's a good thing.
Yeah, these dragon for kill trades are always so intriguing because they have different value points. As Bjergsen continues to beat on Prawley here in the mid lane, is you can do the regular math and say, okay, the gold from the dragon, which is around, depending on the area of the game, let's say that last one was 750 or so.
Sure.
Versus a kill, which is going to be 450 shared. And you think, the dragon's better. But not exactly, because there's the minion waves you talked about, and then the future individual farm advantage of that other guy, and how many rewards that's going to translate into. Oftentimes, it's worth getting a kill to give up a dragon if you get it in the right spot.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about, you know, where did that Dragon Gold go anyway? And the AD carries, well, they're both at Bloodthirst. Roots 1, not really a big difference in power spike, so there's a part of that gold advantage that didn't really go anywhere. For example, mid laners still just fine. They've both finished their first big item. So yeah, this diffuse dragon gold might not mean much for compLexity. We'll see if it means a power spike somewhere later on, like the Trinity Force being done when it wouldn't.
Yeah. The value changes completely depending on the matchup, which is why I like these decisions, because we so often, because we don't have time to in a game, dismiss it as being like, oh, that's a good trade for them, they got more gold, or oh, it's just a trade. But on a case-by-case basis, sometimes it's a huge win, and here I thought it was a big win for TSM.
Well, Darius gonna get stunned up a little bit, does take some turret damage, probably getting pushed away though in the mid lane. Big damage comes out, the culling flashed away, some plants help out with this one. Ziggs bomb drops him to half HP, and the disengage.
Yeah, now they're trying to get that mid lane pressure going. Well, Bjergsen is off in the bottom lane, getting more farm. 150 CS for Kassadin in 16 minutes is a lot.
Westrice just keeps wanting to fight too as well, but yeah, oh, here comes Amazing, does not land the stun though. Westrice forced to flash. TSM continues to have control over that lane. RobotXLead not having a good trade against Bjergsen. Level 11 Kassadin, he could go back in.
Yeah, he's got to be careful as he falced away right as the ultimate came back on cooldown. You mentioned the longer cooldown of 11. Bjergsen's really going to want to hit level 16, then he might take over.
Just hitting 11 for now. Good job by Robert to know the timing by heart and be like, he could jump me now, so got my 50 mana get away. Wild Turtle and Glebe, though, ready to pressure this mid lane. Looks like the lanes have moved around. Bjergsen will solo bot for a while, but the mid lane is now being pressured. Amazing's here to counter jungle while this all happens. Look, this turret will be falling. compLexity cannot muster the forces to defend it in time. And we're now 2 turrets to 0 and 4 kills to 1.
compLexity is very quickly running out of options. There is too much stun control, not necessarily enough vision control, and everyone of compLexity is just continually running away from this TSM team trying to chase him down.
Westrice gets away with just landing a W from Lucian, no big problem on that one, but more of the jungle is being stolen away. You're seeing Amazing now, nearly level 11 for this one, taking camps away from Broken Shard, who's only level 9 for himself, so you're seeing advantages all throughout the map. The thing about counter jungling is the CS lies to you, because if you take the white, it's only 1 for 0. If you take the big golem, it's 1 for 1. Raze sometimes is a 1 for 3, but you're getting more value out of it. But certainly Amazing's been counter jungling a lot off his advantageous lanes. Now RobotXLead portion of the 1v1 against Darius, but here comes the TP in. Can Westrice save him? Well, forces Darius away. And he's gonna keep chasing. Is there the damage? Nope. Jumps the wall.
So TP for forcing Darius back, not necessarily the best trade, is now down, which means TSM can aggress elsewhere.
Good Satchel retreat there. Glebe will not land the binding. TSM, they're not going to lose this turret.
Here comes a teleport and an Elise.
All right, big plays coming in, bumping up very, very low. Puts the spam down. He will get away from Lucian, actually, at least for now. But Bjergsen over the wall finds one with the Force Pulse. And out they go. More kills for TSM for nothing lost.
2-0-1 onto Bjergsen and Distortion Boots, because he's going to be wanting to teleport a whole bunch more. And this is really, it feels a bit like a throwback game for TSM. We had mostly standard lanes. They're up 3 turrets to 1, almost 3 turrets to 0. I remember so many games way back in Season 2 where TSM would just kind of win all their lanes, get 3 turrets down to 0, have a 5,000 gold lead, and then win by 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's almost fitting that it's a Darius against Westrice game, because they are both players from the Season 1 World Championship. Westrice and Darius actually used to be on the same team and they would swap roles depending on which champions they were playing. Now, of course, they're both LCS top laners, but the old feeling of the game is still here right now.
It's a whole bunch of fun watching how these guys all go. We're gonna see if they can keep it on moving. Dyrus getting pushed away right now by some Corki rockets. That's fine. Their other ex-teammate, Double Lift, we'll be seeing later on in the day. Sorry, I felt like keeping the history lesson going as we wait for some fights.
Called Epic Gamer.
Epic Gamer. Only Salsi and Dan Den are missing. The rest of them made the LCS.
Double Lift was the brave support of that team.
Occasionally Jungle Lee Sin, who famously face-checked a brush and died. Now Prawley level 12 right here, gonna go ahead and keep the minions under his control as best he can. Didn't actually quite take that little Wraith right there, so still the gold going into Bjergsen's favor. Robert X Lee now, all of compLexity right now, instead of trying to make plays, they are freezing as close to their turrets as possible, trying to accrue gold and just catch up. But
and honestly,
Dragon's up in 15.
They need to try this type of style because they were losing pretty badly when they fell behind a little early, and they just tried to make plays all over the map and really press for things. And we're saying, you know, they should stop pressing for things and kind of let the game come to them. They're mostly trying to do that here. And it's funny because the plays they actually have tried to make, like the teleports from Westerice, have lost pressure for them on the map. And that's actually when they've gotten most of their deaths. TSM isn't really making any super creative, aggressive moves. They're using their double teleport to react to what compLexity wanted to do, which is honestly a very good game plan. The times compLexity has tried to make an action, TSM has reacted with something even better. And without the ignites on TSM, their playmaking from zero isn't that strong, and they know they can outfarm without it. So overall, it's a very solid strategy.
You're seeing it work out for these guys. Almost a 5,000 gold lead. TSM looking pretty good. Waiting around the siege, of course, very hard against a Ziggs and a Zyra. If your name starts with Z, you tend to be pretty good at killing minion waves, so it's going to be compLexity able to defend for a while. And heck, if you can defend for a while, Jax can eventually catch up and start doing his thing. Westerice's not to the best start.
Doesn't even have Trinity Force, though.
Yeah.
21 minutes in. He's definitely been kept down. That's the fear of that early Jax pick against TSM team, especially with Dyrus. Yeah. And they focused heavily on keeping Westerice down.
Well, Stun's going to come out against Bjergsen, but he's forced to run away. I don't think he has the damage to pick up the kill, but he's going to try. Bjergsen putting the damage down on Westerice. Force Pulse is back up at the last second, but puts it down to a quarter, forcing him under the turret. He's going to go away on this one. And yeah, you mentioned the fact that Triforce wasn't done yet. Westerice had been bullied out by Dyrus so hard he had to stop and pick up a Ninja Tabi. 675 gold, which is take less damage in lane.
Which is a disaster against an Elise Morgana team.
And a yeah.
Because if he actually gets in a team fight, he won't be able to move, is the biggest thing. Actually, last game, Zion Spark started Ninja Tabi on Jax and sold them for Mercury Treads. And that was just against a Morgana as far as mid lane crowd control goes. Westerice won't be able to do anything. He can't split push against Dyrus because he's not strong enough, and a team fight is going to get hit by crowd control.
It's a pretty rough spot now if you're Jax in this game. See if he can turn himself into something later on, but right now it's not the case. Dyrus walking away from the blue buff. We still don't see compLexity really holding any of their own jungle right now. You can see TSM's wards actually. 2 pink wards in the upper jungle trying to control the red buff and areas around that. And a few deep wards in the blue buff jungle as well.
Yeah, now 4,400 gold lead. It's slowly accruing, and it's just the control that TSM has. Not an action-packed game, but they're getting to the late game of Cassidy, where he will just take over combined with the crowd control everyone else has. Wild Turtle's going to be hitting his items. They don't have to worry about late game, a super late game AD carry, because they're against Corki. It's like a mid-game AD carry that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
If anything, they have to worry about the siege potential of Ziggs.
Yes.
Which will really have to be their main focus.
This is interesting is actually how well can TSM, just keep playing the gold game versus actually closing the game out. We've actually seen a couple of games now today, just today actually, where a team gets the early lead and then can't quite make the right moves. Dignitas's earlier game, TSM against Curse actually went back and forth for a while. And, they talked about in both cases where it's like, yeah, there's plays we could have made that would have been working out a little better. Rogueshard getting set up, though. A lot of CCs got nowhere to go. Finally, Wardhouse, but the culling is going to be enough, and Wild Turtle takes one.
Nice shot right there by all of TSM. The Dark Binding landing just to the culling. And now they can teleport in trying to force a Baron. That was the small window they're waiting for. They have the smite down. If anyone comes for them, they're going to stun him and lock him up to kill him. But unless it's a full engage of a fight, they're not going to be able to stop this Baron from being taken by Amazing's smite.
Well, there we go. Brokenshard dead for 8 seconds. Retro compLexity still trying to show up for it if they can. Bombs come out. Some good harass does come through. The ultis are available. Can they spike down? Can they get rid of it? There comes the spam. The damage comes out, smited away by Amazing. But the battle has begun. Dyrus falls 1 for 0 so far. Here's to push away in the back line, but a nice amount of CC from Glebe might make it good. So far, 2 for 2 in this battle. Probably Westrice trying to fight up against Amazing. That bomb's gonna miss the chase in. There's the repel. The damage output pretty massive. Another kill picked up. Westrice turns it back around. 3 for 3. Westrice, can he go back in for anything? The stun not gonna land. Jumps to a ward though. Bjergsen claims that one. Broken Shard. Gonna turn back around.
And even though there's only 2 people currently wearing it, the Baron gold does go to TSM as a whole. And taking a look at this one, they took a lot of damage inside the pit, which was rather dangerous. But remember, it was a 4v5, and Glebe got off a great start to the ultimate, which scattered compLexity. Kassadin and Elise thrive on scattered team fights because of their mobility. That's how Bjergsen is able to hop over the wall, finish him off, stick around for Westrice. Despite his little stun juke right here, he's able to just jump on and finish him off again, and that's a very fed Bjergsen approaching the late game, and a slightly larger gold lead because of the eventual results of that Baron fight.
I like how well Bjergsen actually timed his Rift Walk as well. He was mid-cast animation when the stun ended, and he was like on top of him. Like, the instinctive timing to these players is really impressive.
And I'm pretty sure in the middle of the fight, he actually let it refresh because he needed the mana cost to reset. It doubles every time you cast it. He spent a large part of the middle of that fight letting it go down. And one other thing, TSM got 5 sweepers.
Yep.
They had so much control of the map, they didn't care about where compLexity went, and they were just looking to starve their vision. That's the whole reason they got the catch on a Broken Shard in the first place, is because they'd starved that vision.
Bjergsen goes for the juke towards the top side, gets some good damage on Westrice. He's got to be careful. The Kale's forced to be used, but Westrice is like 2 hits from dead. Bjergsen goes in, takes him down in the 1v2.
Yeah, the mana return mechanism on his W was very prevalent there. He was actually out of mana at the start of that. Hit champions a few times with it, got enough to Rift Walk him to death.
Glebe gonna pop the ulti and the Zhonyas, and here comes Dyrus as well. The burst comes in, they pick up 1, but Robert X Lee now is on the wrong side of the fight. He's gonna go down to Amazing. Probably on the wrong side of Dyrus as well. 2 for 1 so far. Elise claiming some kills. Now Bjergsen gets 1 more for the squad. 6-0-2 on the Kassadin, 3-0-5 on Amazing's Elise.
Yep, and just like that, all the vision denial, the champions reaching their point, and the vision controlled the map by Bjergsen. That's that level 16 Kassadin taking over.
Whole bunch of damage comes out right there. Maximum W last 3 points in that one, but up to the top inhibitor they go. Wild Turtle, Amazing, and Dyrus all put damage. Only Westrice alive. This will mean at least the turret, likely the inhibitor as well.
Now 12,000 gold lead. It has just ballooned in the past few minutes here. 15 kills to 5. Easily taking this inhibitor, and Bjergsen is a force to be reckoned with on Kassadin.
Gigantic Rod of Ages, Void Staff, and a Zhonya's Hourglass just to make sure nothing really happens to him. At the mid lane under fire as well. Bjerg takes the aggro, doesn't care too much. A couple skill shots land. Do compLexity go in? He looks for it, but jumps back to a minion. No major damage, but Cocoon did land onto Corki. He's got to be careful. Amazing in the front lines as well. More AoE comes down. Do TSM stay with the Baron buff? The juke away, just barely reaching that one. But 3-man root and Westrice goes in. The damage comes out. Zyra ulti as well. The team's forced away. Repel still in the air. Amazing getting out. But there's still regen from Baron buff.
Yeah, they're wanting to get this second inhibitor down to greater secure their advantage in this game, and with how aggressively they're posturing their Freak, there's really not much compLexity can do. They landed a 3-man root from Zyra and could not follow. Let's take another look at this team fight though. It was Glebe getting a little bit caught out, and then he just ulted Zhonya's to delay for everyone to come in. Dyrus jumped in with his ultimate. Bjergsen actually had to go to base to heal up, and then he could teleport in, but once he did, it was over.
Oh, smite attempt not going to be taken. Broken Shard can't quite claim that one. There is an Elise falling from the rafters, and Amazing will go down. Kill credit goes to Broken Shard's Lee Sin, but Dragon for a kill, still good for TSM.
Yeah, that'll only delay 40 seconds. Then I feel like TSM's going to try and end this one. Expect 5 people or 4 people down the bottom lane, while 2 waves of super minions pushing base.
You know, Dyrus is a wizard right now.
How so?
Well, he wants to steal your souls.
The soul war?
He did start the soul war. There's no Thresh, but he's still got a soul stealer.
Oh dear.
And he's got a blue elixir, which, to be fair, I actually have seen sometimes as the correct buy. Not in this case.
A lot of cooldown reduction. It's valuable on Renekton.
Yeah. I mean, the AD and health would help more, but Rammus would be one I'd say, okay, blue elixir's worth it for the ball curl, but no, Dyrus just wants to be a wizard.
Awesome. Well, more power to him. He did great this game.
Yes. You know, he's growing a beard, so he's a bit hairy.
All right, Freak.
Okay, we're gonna move forward though. Looks like the bottom lane now gonna be under fire. 2 inhibs already dead. 2 minutes till Baron's back up. And here we go. Gonna make their way for that tier 2, not even contested by compLexity. They will move.
Ooh, Bjergsen took a bunch of damage there.
Yeah, there's some good poke coming out. You know, Kassadin doesn't have any real innate magic resist, just the passive on him. You can poke him out with a shield down.
Yeah, I mean, his teleport's not up yet. He'd love it to be back up, and he'd just teleport back into the fight here. Westrice has gone to clear minion waves, and I feel like TSM, exactly, this is what Amazing should be doing. He's taking inside the base to make it more difficult for compLexity to hold the front line in front of their turret, and should hopefully make it fall to minions.
See if they can make this one happen right here. Bottom inhibitor now going to be under siege. This turret surrounded by 5 members of TSM. Westrice forced to hold the top lane. Here comes the minion wave.
Good hold so far. Westrice, Jackson one of the better minion holders, but Darius just ulting, becoming a monster, and trying to finish off that turret.
Go big damage, Rupture, then a half HP. The dive on in, the Ziggs ulti as well. Westrice taking a bunch of pain, but so is Darius. Zyra ulti going to be actually dodged by everyone. They pick up one. Bjergsen now legendary. Westrice low. Double kill so far for Glebe as well. Only 1 member alive for compLexity. Bubba Dub, the last man to fall. TSM with a clean ace.
That was kind of what TSM was hoping for the whole game. 10-0-4 on Bjergsen Kassadin. He got to late game. 30-minute win for TSM.
Darius goes with a touchdown to close it all out just to be sure it all works, but that's going to be the game. TSM now with the winning record in the LCS.
Yeah, I mean, they did lose to Cloud9 on day 1, but they're taking care of business today. Yep, tough game against X Special, but then against compLexity, a team that has failed to pick up a win thus far in the LCS, they just straight up take care of business.
So good play all around and amazing. I think he went near deathless for a large part of the first game. This game 3-1 and 10. The new roster picker for TSM, I gotta say, he's doing quite well. Glebe in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
The laning phase wasn't great for them. I think compLexity did start very well in the 2-on-2. But in team fights, he did his job, got the zone use off, got the engages, generally playing quite well. And with a game like that, with Glebe being the man talking a lot during the game, he said we look sharp.
Amazing, as that fan would like to tell us.
Yep.
They're getting there for sure. And you can't expect immediate domination by a team that brings in 2 new team members. But they're very focused around Bjergsen. They're good at that. Amazing is very strong mechanically, as we've seen from his Elise play. And I